Orchard STEM School received an orchard's worth of apples recently, but not the round kind you eat like this. The flat kind you hold. The school received 500 iPads after winning a grant, one for every student and teacher in the building, making it the first K-8 in the district to boast one-to-one technology. And they didn't waste any time getting acquainted with the devices. See how they celebrated with Apple employees and decorated their iPad docking stations. Plus, hear from the principal and district CEO Eric Gordon about how this helps their education.
We just decided we needed more for our kids. We were trying to prepare kids for 21st century jobs, so technology is a huge piece of how that happens. And also being a STEM school, technology is a huge part of STEM teaching and learning. So we wrote this grant and we got it. We were so excited. So every single child at Orchard has an iPad. Every single teacher has an iPad, Apple TV in their classroom, and also a MacBook. So we are just completely changing how kids are learning because it's so individualized, and every child's going to have their own pathway of learning with these devices. So we're really just so excited about that. We decided we were kind of going to have this culminating celebration, and what would that look like? And so every classroom has this iPad cart, and they got to make a float out of it, this design. And so all of the kids came up with their own ideas, and some of them were around the iPad safety rules, and some of them were orchard themed. And so that pride in getting to show how hard they have worked for these iPads, and that moment of walking those all down in front of the entire student body, in front of Eric Gordon, was just kind of the culmination of all of our efforts finally coming true for our kids. And then having Apple clap us out and their support today, it made it a very special event for our school. Something everybody will always remember. And I know I just had a teacher come up to me and she was in tears. She was so excited. It kind of felt like Christmas morning again. So it was a nice treat for everybody. We prepared hard. We did a lot of groundwork on this. Everybody took these common sense media courses. My teachers all went to all this Apple training. And so we put it all together, and its younger grades are focusing really around the safety and how to use them and how to turn them on. And some of our older students are going to be actually doing some day one activities where they're learning keynotes and numbers and all of the Mac software that is on those devices. So it's going to be really exciting, and kids do not have this technology at home, and definitely not on this scale. And what that means for kids is they have their own individualized learning pathway, and that's the most important thing to me. No matter where they are, we can meet them where they're at, and we can help them grow.
Our students in Cleveland need to have the same access that all students in the United States have, and so many kids have access to one-to-one technology in their schools, and now we're bringing it into Cleveland as well. This is what I would dream for every single one of our students, not so much for the technology, but for what access it creates to such rich, just-in-time learning environments, and so it's really exciting to see them having this.
It was a really fun day. Probably one of the better days of being a principal. I think in 1 year you'll be able to come back and we're complete Apple classrooms.
The principal told me part of the lessons with the iPads might include connecting with other schools around the country using the technology. All of the classrooms will also learn about online safety and responsibility. For more stories like this, you can visit the CMSD News Bureau website at clevelandmetroschools.org/news. Reporting from the CMSD TV studio, I'm Shannon Kantner.